How you guys doing? This is Jason with TunaTech, and today it's post-Thanksgiving here in the US, and we're all searching for the greatest deal ever in Black Friday. And I am not going to make a video about a lot of Black Friday deals, but this deal may be too good to pass up. Alright, like I said, there's a lot of good deals out there and some not so good. But today I'm just going to go over one that I think is a killer deal. Now, to those of you do know or don't know, OnePlus has been around for some time. There have been some changes. They've made some side steps here and there, and they're mainly known for their phones. Well, they've recently released their folding phone as well as a OnePlus Pad. Now this came out roughly 6-7 months ago, and it was a decent tablet for the price. But the deal they have now for Black Friday is the OnePlus Pad for $399, and you get either the keyboard case for free or the Stylo, aka their stylus, for free included. And even better, let's say you go with the keyboard, it's $399 with the keyboard, and then if you throw the stylus in, it's only $49.99, which is half its price of $99.99 here in the US. So what makes this so great? Well, it's upper mid-range device, let's leave it at that. The processor isn't the newest processor, and it isn't a Snapdragon. So what is it? This is the OnePlus Pad with an 11.6 inch screen. It's in a 7.5 aspect ratio, so it's a little bit taller, not as wide. So those of you who are really dead set on those Samsung and Lenovo tablets, this is going to be a little different change for you. So it's basically going to be taller so you can get more work done, but it'll be just fine for content, consumption as well. It's got a resolution of 2800 by 2000, and it's got a 144 hertz screen that supports Dolby Vision and HDR. It is LCD, it is not AMOLED, but from what I've seen so far, it is a really good screen. 13 megapixel rear camera, and it's in a precarious circular in the middle of the tablet there. And on the front, you got an 8 megapixel front camera. The chip that is running is the MediaTek Dimensity 9000. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM, 120 gigabytes of storage that is not expandable. It's got a 9500 milliamp hour battery and runs on Android 13 under Oxygen's OS from OnePlus. So that is the tablet. I do have the keyboard and I do have the stylus. We'll go over that in a second. So if I can get this to open, these things are always hard to open. Now I have not opened this yet. I took the plastic off it because it was kind of shiny, but it comes in this green. I know from the picture, there you go. It's kind of hard to see the green from here, but as you can see, it is a green, and OnePlus has really doubled down on the green color, especially on their phones as well. What interests me about this device is it's a MediaTek 9000, and that chipset is kind of a sandwich between the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 OnePlus-ish and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. It's not going to beat Gen 2, but for most users, this is going to be plenty enough horsepower for what you need. So putting the tablet aside, we're going to pull the center part out here, and in here, I'm going to assume you're going to have some warranty information, your red card club, probably some OnePlus stickers. Actually, no. Well, that's disappointing. I've always liked the OnePlus stickers, but either way, yeah, look at me, worried about stickers, but either way, got that information. It actually comes with a 67 watt charger in the box, and that is something that is nice and handy to have. A lot of new tablets still do not include this, and it comes with your red cable that's very synonymous with the OnePlus brand. So what does this thing lack? So you'd think at this price range something's got to be missing. So there's no biometric entry into this, no fingerprint, and no like 3D face unlock. It does have your typical 2D that can be easily manipulated, and that right there can be a big downfall. Now it does have 4 speakers, so it's got quad speakers, and they do sound pretty decent. I'm telling you this as I'm opening it the first time, but I haven't messed with one of these, and the speakers are not on par with an iPad Pad Pro or a Samsung Ultra, but they did for the price. This thing is amazing. So right off the bat, you guys, look at that green, and you can see like the spiraling that goes to the circle. I think that's really, and it's aluminum, and it's rounded on the corners, so it's easy to hold. And I'm gonna assume this little pad right here is for the stylo, and then you got your volume buttons and a mic. On this side, you got 2 of the 4 speakers, and it says Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos, so it does support both those. On the bottom, you're gonna have your pogo pins or your pins for the keyboard and other accessories. And on this side, you have USB Type-C charging and 2 more speakers. So in the front here, you'll have a center mounted, where it should be, front facing camera. So I'm gonna power it on to see if it turns on. If it does, you know, we all know this, the typical startup of a tablet, so it's not gonna be anything spectacular. The screen is quite shiny, and from what I read, it gets about 500 nits of brightness, which should be plenty ample for inside and outside use. It does not have video out on the USB port, so there's no way to connect it to more screens or use it as a screen. But again, you guys, you're paying $399 for a device with a keyboard. Now, when this first released, it was so much, but then you had to pay extra for the keyboard and extra for the stylo. It ended up being like $750. At that price, you might as well get an iPad or if you're an Android user, the Samsung. But as you can see, fired up, that's what it looks like. I'm not gonna go too much into this. We're gonna pull it off to the side here, and we're gonna look at the keyboard and the stylo. So we'll go with the keyboard first. So the keyboard, as you can see here, is going to be a pull open, which didn't pull at all, but I got it. And then we will open it up. So keyboard here, you got to have like your mindset. This is not going to be a huge keyboard. It's only an 11-inch tablet, so it's not going to be very functional for a lot of people, but I think having the option for on-the-go light video editing, anything like that, it'd be nice to have. So what this is the OnePlus Magnetic Keyboard. It's a keyboard that magnetically attaches to the OnePlus Pad without the need of Bluetooth, switches, plugs, or pairing. It has a touchpad. It uses gestures just like on the screen, and it tilts to about 120 degrees, the perfect angle for reading and working. So what we'll do is we'll pull this over right here. So you see the pogo pins right here, and we'll see how it disconnects. So you get, ooh, that's strong. And then you have this that goes around the back of the keyboard. So there you go. And it looks like that's about as much as you're gonna get. So there's no, I don't know if you guys can see the angle of this. There is no way of making that any different. That is the angle at which it's going to stay. The keyboard is not backlit, and it doesn't look like it works until the screen is actually, or the device is actually set up. So interestingly enough, that's the only angle you're going to get. I think this retails for like $149 separately, but free. I mean, obviously it's not worth $150 in my eyes by itself, but free, heck yeah, it's definitely worth it. And then the last thing we'll look at here is the stylo, which I'm not really sure why they call it the stylo, but either way, we'll rip this thing open here real quick. So the stylo is a digital pen that can be used with the OnePlus Pad, as you can see here. It has a low latency of 2 milliseconds, but there's a little asterisk next to that. Only in certain applications, it's probably not as quick. It can be tilted from 0 to 60 degrees and can be attached magnetically to the OnePlus Pad for charging and pairing. So it looks eerily similar to the Apple Pencil, but either way, it's still a nice addition to this. I don't think they have any extra tips in here, but I was going to look and see. You know, with Samsung, you gotta remember when you're buying a tablet, all the Samsung devices come with a pen, not quite this large, and a couple extra tips. But that's something you gotta consider. So this gives you the keyboard and the stylus, and then it just kind of clips right to the top, like that. And then if it's, once the tablet's set up, you get a little notification on the top of the screen showing it's charging and it's paired. And if you can see, it's hard for me to zoom in, it's got a very similar pen tip as the Apple, and it's even got the little kind of like the angled look. So needless to say, this is the OnePlus Pad from OnePlus. Hell of a deal for Black Friday. I don't know, I'm not really sure how long that deal is going to last, but for $399 with the keyboard or $450 with all of this, it's very hard to pass up. As if you're an Android user, there isn't many tablets at this price with all this, and it can be a basic workhorse for you. You can use Google Docs, you know, Microsoft 360. You can use some basic, you know, CapCut video editing or KineMaster or whatever, and it'll do some light video gaming. I've seen some people online saying this can do a lot of general gaming, like your Call of Duty, Fortnite. Just be prepared for it not to be as on the level of a $1,200 iPad Pro or S9 Ultra now from Samsung. So I'll leave a link in the description below to where you can pick this up for that price. Thanks for watching.